Good evening, everybody. Tonight we're doing just a directed drawing project. This is something that I pulled out of a sort of a drawing book on how to draw and things like that. And it's a very sort of fun, elementary sort of drawing. But what it talks about is drawing the elements of contour. And the reason why I wanted to get into that is because next week we're going to do blind contour drawings, and they're kind of fun. And again, no pressure. It's just kind of an easy sort of thing. But this is sort of dealing with the different shapes that deal with contour when you're drawing and stuff like that. So I think I just said to have 3 pieces of paper because we're going to do 3 different drawings. I said to bring like a paint, some sort of paints or paint palettes. I have 2. I have this one, which is really old and messy, and it's just cheap paints that I bought years ago. And then of course, when I was cleaning up my mom's studio, she had these ones, and they're kind of sheeny, sparkling. So my examples are done with these sparkly ones, and I think you can buy them at some craft store that starts with an M. Anyway, the other thing that I have is I just have a whole bunch of markers, and so I'm going to use those markers and a couple of pens, just a Sharpie and another pen, and my papers. So we'll get started really quickly. I'm just going to show you some examples of, and I have a brush too. Some examples of some of the lines that we're going to be dealing with. So I'm just going to switch to the other camera. And if I can do it right, there we go. Perfect. Okay. Look, I'm getting this down. I'm not going to need those soon. Okay. So when we're talking about the elements of contour, there's 5 elements. Okay, and I'm just going to use a fairly dark pen here to show you. So first of all, there's a dot, and everybody knows what a dot is, right? It's a circle, but it's a colored in circle. So there's a dot, but everybody thinks dots are round. They don't necessarily have to be round. This could be a dot. As long as it's colored in, then it's considered a dot when you're dealing with contour. So I'm going really messy here. So that's the first, and that's dots. The other one is circles, and circles are, of course, not filled in, right? So, and it can be a weird sort of shape if you want. So that's a circle. And then the other one you have is line, and that's pretty straightforward, a line. And then there's a curve. And then there's angles. So that's 5 elements of contour drawing, and those are just a real basic thing. Okay. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do some directed drawings. Now, I like using my sketchbook because that's what I use. But what I did find out when I'm doing these with the markers kind of go through the page. So I've done 2 pages here and I asked you to do like a border around the page. That just helps make it look more like a painting or a picture rather than just something that's floating on your page. So I did 2 of those, and then I did one on a sheet of paper, which I will glue in later because I don't want to have stuff go over.
Karen, can I just stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Because I was just writing down these elements and I missed one. So you got dots, circle,
dot,
line,
circle, line.
Oh, and curve.
Curve.
Okay. It was curve I missed.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to be using when we go to do these drawings tonight. So I have 3 drawing exercises, and you can orient your page any way you like, whether you want it up and down or whatever. These are some of the ones that I did. These are the 3 I did using our little thing. So they're kind of weird. I added some extra bits because I was kind of bored with them, but these are really just sort of basic drawings, and you can get more and more detailed as you go, or less and less detailed if you want. So, okay. So grab your first piece of paper, and what you're going to do is grab a felt marker. And I like starting off with a Sharpie because it's kind of nice for me. And what you're going to do, it says with a felt marker, draw 3 straight lines anywhere on the page, but the lines must run off both sides of your composition, which means going off of these 2 lines. So I don't know, you might just want to do something like that. I always like straight lines. And I'm just doing 3. Okay, pretty simple.
And we must do 3, and do they have to be straight?
Yes, because they're just a straight line.
Okay.
Don't worry, you'll get a curvy line in there too. Okay, then what you want to do is you want to take one of your colored markers. I'm going to use this purple because it's super pink. And you're going to draw 3 dots anywhere on your page. So, and again, the dots can be, they don't have to be round. They can be of various sizes, but they need to be filled in because they're dots. So I'm going to do a weird shape one because I always do circles. So there's one. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm going to try and think about focal point and, you know, just sort of how things are being placed. I'm not going to put all of them on the edge. I'm going to put them sort of in the middle of my page so they get seen and they're not running off my picture. I'm going to put 2 really close together. I feel like I should call them blobs instead of dots. But
I did small dots.
nice.
I don't think it matters.
No, it doesn't matter. Okay, now with a felt marker, start on one dot and draw a curved line that also goes off the drawing composition. So you take your, I'm going to take my Sharpie again because I like the black. And I'm going to go on one of these and I'm going to do a curve. Make sure it goes off your page. You can do one.
Does it have to be anchored to one of your lines? Is that what you said?
No, it has to be anchored to one of your dots. So
Oh,
it has to start at a dot and go off the page. So, and you can do one of them or you can do a couple of them if you like. I'm going to do another one. Okay.
I think I need new Sharpies.
I know they run out after a while, don't they?
Yeah.
I've got lots that are have seen better days. They might be a nice gray when they're running out. Okay, then what you're going to do, I'm going to try using one of these with a, oh, it says fine tip marker. Okay, so I'm going to use this guy. It says, draw a circle that touches at least one other drawn element on the page. So they're not solid, it's just a circle. So I'm actually going to start with this line. Oh, I went over some other drawn elements. That's what I wanted to do. I did a circle, but you can't see it. It ends underneath that thing. So that's my circle. Okay, then with another marker, you need to take, with a felt marker, draw an angled line from one drawn element to another and then off the composition. So.
okay, repeat that from one.
With a felt marker, draw an angled line from one drawn element. So it could be a dot, it could be your curvy line, your circle, or your straight lines. Draw it from one to another mark and then take it off the composition. So I'm going to do.
Is that a colored marker?
I'm just using a colored one. You can use whatever you like. You can use your Sharpie or you can use it. I'm using a colored one because I have some.
I have very, very limited color markers.
That's okay.
I
You
have
don't have to use them.
highlighters. all of mine are highlighters. I have somewhere along the line gotten rid of all of our felt pens, so.
That's funny. I love pens. I can't let any of them go.
I think they were sort of drying out and
Yeah.
I wasn't using them much and we just did a big purge.
Yeah, you did.
Or
years
more
ago.
likely, I probably just gave all of them away. Anything that was good, you know, I usually test them. And
Yeah,
anyway,
that's the way it goes. Okay, so I just did one line going from my dot. I hit a couple of my line things and then off the page. So I've got kind of a weird thing. So then with your fine tip marker, so think about this composition. You have lots of different spaces. And what I want you to do, and this is, I sort of added this in, is add some sort of pattern to one of the spaces. You could do like a huge space if you want. I'm just going to do a little space, and I'm going to do this space down here with the curve. And I just like, I've been really enjoying doing those hatching lines, kind of like what we did last week. So I'm just going to do some hatching lines in this one space. All going the same way, because that's just sort of what I feel like doing. So then once you've got this far, you're going to paint it. And the reason why I chose, like, you could color it with pencil crayon, but we'd be sitting here for hours watching each other paint or color with pencil crayons or something like that. So the reason why the paints are so good, because you can just sort of do a wash and it'll add the color, add coloring to your piece without, you know, having to take too much time. So I'm just gonna, and I'm using a nice broad brush here. I like these brushes that have the flat edge because I can make a really nice edge with them. So all I'm really doing is I'm just sort of getting some color in here so that it looks like a finished painting. But it's really, this is just a sketch, you know, and it's just sort of playing with shape and seeing how it goes.
Okay, I've never used watercolor before. This is my first try, so.
Oh. Well, it's not, it's very thin and more painterly, right? So then acrylics, you just, I mean, you could use acrylics, you just need to add a lot more water to it because you don't want to make it thick. You just want to do sort of like a thin layer. And, you know, like I like using these when I'm doing sketches in my book because they are so light. And, you know, sometimes if I go on a trip and I want to do sketching out in places, then I will take my watercolors with me and I can just do a quick sketch and just add a little bit of color to it just to make it look. Oh, that fine tip marker I have is not permanent. It's running a bit. And this is just a good way to sort of, you know, color up those spaces really quickly. So it's more just an idea of the color.
Are those actually different color paints you're using, or are they just different shades of gray?
Well, this is actually, it's sort of a reddish one, so you wouldn't see that because you don't have that color in your vision, is that right?
I can see reds. I just can't see that particular.
Yeah, it's sort of a pinkish red. So, and then I'm using gray down here. This is definitely gray. And I'm going to use it up here too, because this is a lot of negative space. So the thing with watercolor, sort of the rule with watercolor is if you keep your paper wet, you won't get lines. The color will blend into each other a little bit nicer.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
You don't
of
want to get
course,
that.
the paper I'm using is not, probably good for
Yeah, mine isn't
watercolors,
either. It's getting a little wrinkly and stuff like that, but that's, sort of, I'm using my sketchbook, so. And you can leave a couple of spaces white if you like. I always like to leave a little bit of white in something like this, just to. Need one more color. Maybe I'll use one of these. Boy, these are, they're really nice, but there's not very much paint in these little spots. Because just using them for practicing this project, I can already see the bottom of the palette.
Oh, those sparkly ones.
Yeah. Like they're nice, but you don't get much paint in them.
Yeah, mine probably don't either because I bought them at the dollar store for the grandkids.
Yeah. Yeah. I did a watercolor class with some artist friends, and I went to some store and I got a whole bunch of their brand name watercolors. And I made these little cards, and I put a little blob of watercolor on for each color. It was awesome because because with watercolor, once it dries, you can still use it. So everybody had like a little painting palette for them to try things with. So anyway, so there's my first composition.
Nice.
I mean, it's not very exciting, right? But it's just, all it is just sort of, trying out sort of a weird sort of way of doing abstract art. So, and look, see, it went right through the page.
Yeah, I like to do mine on a separate and then glue it in because of that.
Yeah, well, that's what I did, right? Like I do it in the book, and then sometimes so like this one will get glued on top of that one.
Oh, I see.
And put
Yeah.
it in.
Okay.
And you know what, in the sketchbook, sometimes what I do is if something goes through, like I did this, remember we were doing these last week. I did one of these and it went through.
Uh-huh.
Well, I just did something else with it. sort of,
Oh,
I went in with pencil, and so it's got some pencil lines in there, and then I added some color, and it just gave me another composition to play with. So sometimes that works when you use the back side of your page. Sometimes it doesn't, but I'm trying to see if I have another one. I know I did it with a drawing. I think I had a cat drawing that I did, and then I did it backwards. It was kind of neat. So, all right, you guys ready for composition number 2?
well, no, but okay.
I'm sorry. It's like I have to go fast because Spencer's just watching.
Get a border. Hold on, let me get my border in.
We can,
Oh.
we can,
You don't
You didn't
have
do
to
your
do,
border before.
you don't have to do anything on my account. Actually, please don't do anything on my account.
I can set that one aside and finish it later.
That's all right.
Okay,
Okay,
ready for number 2.
number 2. Well, you're gonna need that Sharpie again, so. Okay. With a felt marker, draw 4 straight lines, each one going off both sides of the composition. So, oh, I hit something on my table. There's my 4 lines. Okay, now with your colored marker, I'm going to use a different color today. Now, you're going to make your 3 dots, but each one has to be a different size and a different shape. So I just did a great big lima bean. Ooh, this pen's running out.
Four lines and then 4 dots, different sizes.
Each one a different size and shape.
Ooh, that's better than the other. Like it. Oh, this is crap.
They all have to be the same color.
No, they don't have to be the same color. You can make them different colors if you want. That wasn't a stipulation, so you could make them different color. Did you decide to join in, Spencer?
No, but I'm interacting.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can always watch the video again when it's less
Sure.
Yeah.
stressful and I can actually not worry about tipping paints over on carpet.
Ah,
So,
see the nice thing about these kind of things, they're dry paints, so.
yeah, but I don't have those, so
Yeah,
I would have to wash acrylics down, and that's
that's not good.
risky.
Okay. With a fine tip marker, I'm gonna use that one again. I'm gonna use one of these. Okay, with a fine tip marker, make a circle that touches one of the dots.
Circle, which is 1 of the dots.
Circle doesn't have to be round.
Well, I've discovered I have one absolutely horrible pen, so it is being tossed.
Oh, see, this is a
Doesn't
good
work
way to
well.
Hmm,
Purge.
those ones out. Okay, now the next point is to, with a colored marker, choose one dot and draw 2 curved lines out from it, both going off the composition page. So I'm going to use
A
my
different color than before or the
Yep.
same color?
different color.
Okay. We do a
Okay,
curve.
so
coming away from a dot.
2 curved lines running away from the dot, going off the page.
And another poopy pen. Probably really old.
Like- Leslie spring cleaning today.
The problem is, I don't know if you can see these, the highlighters are my selection.
I see.
Older highlighters and newer highlighters. And
I
some
gotta
of the
tell you.
older ones are garbage.
Yeah. These pens, these Prismacolor markers, I've had these
Yeah.
since interior design school. I graduated from interior design in 94.
Wow.
I used to have some of those.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And I've probably gotten rid of, like, I couldn't find any. So over the years,
Yeah.
I know I've had lots, but they're not in
Well, you
this
know-
house now.
It's funny because the manufacturer sells a pen holder with like little holes so you can put your pens in and just leave them
Yeah,
sitting there so you
yeah.
can grab them. But that's the worst way to keep your pens. You need to keep your pens flat so that, because they're double-ended, right?
Yeah.
You don't want the ink to run to one side because that's how it dries out. So I kept these, and for years I kept them closed in a Tupperware box. Now I can't close the lid on my Tupperware box because I have too many pens. They lasted too long. Okay.
Well, what we've learned then is the Prismacolor markers are the Hostess Twinkies of art supplies.
Exactly. Okay, so with a colored marker, and you can use any other color, I'm going to use my red one again. Draw angled elements that run between 2 of your straight lines. So
Angled elements run between
angled
two.
elements. So I'm just gonna do.
Okay, and this is with our fine one
A colored marker.
or colored marker? Oh, okay, okay.
I'm trying not just to do a Charlie Brown sort of zigzag thing. There.
Oh, great. I'm doing a Charlie Brown zigzag.
Are you? Okay. I started doing it. I thought, no, I don't want to do, I gotta do something else. So. Okay, now that you've got that done, you're going to render the entire piece with your paints again, except you need to leave 3 areas empty of color. So, and you know, like when you're doing that, this could be a space, right? It doesn't have to be like, this could be a space, and or this could be a space, and this could be a space, or maybe one of my lines could be a space. You know, just 3 locations on your painting. Let's try some yellow. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to leave blank, but
Oh, Jesus. Terrible color.
Oh, this color is terrible.
what color is it?
Well, it's kind of an orange, but it doesn't go well with the colors I've already chosen.
That's
I
okay.
should have picked a more brown. Oh. I wonder if it's too late to change it somehow.
You could try painting over it at some point.
You can go for puce.
Puke, did you say?
Puce,
Use,
that's right.
use, puke. Might be the same to some people.
Well, I believe puce is purple and orange mixed together.
In many respects, life is much easier when your Crayola crayon box only has 24 colors.
24 colors is a lot.
A 12.
Oops.
The way you three talk, your crayon boxes have hundreds of crayons in them.
About 8.
8.
8.
Roy G. Biv is 7.
With black. Okay. What am I gonna do?
I saw a college student running today with chartreuse hair.
Wow.
He wasn't running very well, but the hair was pretty colorful.
That's distraction. Don't really watch me run. Just look at my hair.
I think he was late for class.
Now my daughter-in-law has pretty strange color hair. Kind of turquoise.
Mhm.
Is it natural? Take
don't
that
know
to
about that.
heart. Hey, you
It's
know,
not natural.
biological world is filled with all kinds of amazing things.
Well, her hair's natural, but the color isn't.
Well, that's 50% of it.
Of course, these colors aren't really very strong. So, I mean, if you wanted to have sort of a stronger composition, you could just do it again with other things. You could use pencil crayon or
Okay, I know what happens.
my painting is getting a little bit messy because I'm using this color in a small space and I'm not being very precise with my
And we're supposed to leave 3 areas
white.
white. Go okay?
Mhm.
Sorry.
That's all right. Okay, there, I left three small areas white. Sort of. So that's composition number 2. It looks like somebody dropped an ice cream cone on the ground.
It kind of does.
It kind of does. Did you ever have that happen to you when you were a kid?
I don't think I hardly ever got an ice cream cone when I was a kid, so
Aw,
if I ever did, it was like you guarded it with your life.
I remember I got an ice cream cone and they did a double stack, whatever, and I went to lick it. And of course I pushed the ice cream right off the cone. It fell on the ground. I was so upset.
Yeah.
But the lady, she went back in and she bought me another one. And lo and behold, the same thing happened again. I
Oh, no.
tried to be careful and she said, just push your mouth on it. And so I did that. And then I went to lick it and it fell off again. I was
You
just
know-
like, so she went and got a third one. And then she went and she just used her mouth and just pushed it down into the cone. And I was like, gross. It's not like she was my mom or anything like that. It was just like, I was like,
5-second rule. You pick it up and put it back on the cone.
I don't know. What was I thinking?
Pick it up
You know,
off the ground,
that
put it back on the cone.
Just brush it off.
Exactly.
Yeah, it wouldn't phase me now. I'd probably just do that. Waste good ice cream.
Yep,
Okay. You guys ready for number 3?
I guess so.
No.
No. Okay, well, let's wait for a couple of minutes. I'll show you guys what I showed Elizabeth. I've been working with the seniors with the paper mache shakers, and here's my shaker so far. It's very spiky.
Can you put
Yeah.
it in, can you put it over your drawings so we can see it?
Oh, I'm showing it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here it is.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
It's like
Yeah.
a combination between a sunflower and a mace.
Smace. I'll smace you. Anyway, these still need to be, they're a little bit still too warbly, so I need to put some more paper mache on it, but yeah, it was quite fun. So. Yep. And I told Elizabeth that I've been putting together projects for the rest of this month and for next month. So we got some stuff coming up.
One more area. 1, 2, 3, okay. One of my types of pens is not color fast.
That's what my fine one is not, and it started to run a little bit. So I switched to my favorites, to my Uniball.
Gonna have to work just with the Sharpie.
Yeah. That's okay.
Trust.
Sometimes those thin lines seem kind of too thin for me. I like the thicker lines better.
And yet, did you use that Uniball needle?
This is the Uniball Vision Fine. It's waterproof.
Yeah, that's what mine says. It's waterproof.
Yeah.
Is that the one that ran?
No, I was using this.
Okay.
This is a Pilot fine liner. It's probably almost as old as
yeah.
I am.
Okay.
So it's in my drawing pen thing, so I thought I'd use it, but
I'm just about ready to roll with the next one.
okay. So the other thing you guys know that I'm a stamp collector, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw, I commented on
You
your
did, yes, you did.
Instagram post. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I did actually. So I went to the stamp place, took my stamp collection, or the one book anyway, and showed it to the guy who, you know, he's a real stamp collector because that's his business. Anyway, he was very impressed by my stamp collection. He said he hadn't ever seen it so nicely organized as I had it or displayed, and he thought it was quite nice. Anyway, I bought a box of, I didn't need to buy a box of stamps off of him, but I did. And it's just like a box of unsoaked, just ripped off the envelope box of stamps. And I've had so much fun just going through it and sorting. But of course, what I realize is now I have 1 billion stamps that I have duplicates of. So I went back today to see if
Oh,
he would be interested in having them. And he's like, no.
Karen? Do you collect both canceled stamps and unused stamps?
Both, yeah. Mostly the canceled ones.
The reason I ask is I've sort of inherited a book that was started by my grandfather back in the 30s.
Yeah,
And a bunch of stamps that go, a lot that go with it, but I don't really have any interest in stamp collecting any longer. And
Yeah.
I'm looking to get rid of it. Would you be interested in it?
possibly.
All of those stamps?
Though, yeah, I have quite a few old ones.
I'll send something on email
Okay,
and you can think about it if you want, or just tell me you're not interested.
okay. It's hard because I don't know, like I have, like the main thing that I collect are Canadian stamps. And so that's my focus. And so I have pretty old ones. Pretty good collection of
It's not a
old.
big deal. It's just something that I'm not gonna be keeping, and you said you get great joy out of sorting through stamps,
I do.
so I thought of
do.
you.
Well, and my neighbor gave me her father's stamp collection, and it was like 5 boxes and 5 boxes
Wow.
of stamps that hadn't been soaked, and I just had a blast going through it. And my dad collected stamps, and he finally a few years ago gave me his stamp collection, which I had fun fixing up, and because they just don't treat the stamps the way that I do. The only thing I didn't do is I haven't taken apart my dad's albums yet, just because I feel like I can't. So he's got a few stamps in his album that I don't have, but not very many. I have more stamps than he does for certain, but yeah. Anyway,
Spencer, I might take a few of those from you with specific years or something.
what do you need?
I don't want a bunch of them, that's for sure.
I have tons of them.
Well, maybe what I'll do is send it to you and you can look at it and you can see if Karen is interested in it.
Mhm.
Okay. We could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, if you're looking for any certain stamps for any reason, for any year, just let me know. I have lots. So anyway. Okay, you guys almost ready for number 3?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the last one. Okay, you're going to take your felt marker. Where's my Sharpie? I just put it down somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw one line that runs from one edge of the paper to the other, but you must also include 3 circles that intersect that line. So you're going to draw the line, but you're going to draw the circles on the line. Okay, so I'm going to just show you what I'm going to do here. And I'm going to go, here's one circle. And then I'm going to continue on my, oh, I curved. Well, there's my other circle, I guess, because I curved.
Straight line and 3 circles.
Yeah, that's sort of, yeah, I kind of didn't do a very good job, but there we go.
Radius line.
That's what mine turned out to be like. And then I'm going to use my red. Now it says with colored marker, add 5 dots to one of your circles and then again somewhere else on the page. So
Okay, I have to use this one, or this one. Because of the run factor. Oh, that's crappy. What's wrong with that orange?
Okay, so 5 circles,
5 dots
5 dots.
in one of your circles, and then somewhere else on the page.
Who is it that gets to decide on the direction of the drawing? You call these directed drawings. I want to know who gets to play God.
Me. Okay, so I got the instructions out of a book and then I added to it. So,
Okay, so 5 dots inside one of the circles and then.
Yep. and then
then
5 dots. I only did 4 and 5
5
dots somewhere else.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
And are they
Do those
supposed to
5
be,
dots-
are they supposed to be grouped together?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It didn't specify. So if
Okay,
you want
okay.
to group them together, you can. I
And-
wanted to group mine together.
And any size.
Yeah.
Can't count.
Then neither could I because I only did 4 and then I had to add another one. Okay, Leslie, this is where you're going to run into trouble here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so, and you might have to double up here because you don't have a lot of markers. What you're going to do is you're going to take 5 different colored markers, and each marker you're going to make you're going to make 2 angles each. And one side should run off the page. So, for example, if you go like this and that, is that only one angle? 2 angles? That's only one angle.
Okay, read that direction again.
Okay. It says, use 5 different colored markers to make 2 angles each. One side of the angle should run off the composition page. So I don't know if this is considered an angle. I added an extra one because I think it's only 2. So
Do they mean 2 angle type lines per color or 2?
so I'm doing, this is one color. This is one color and it's going off the page.
But it says,
2 per color.
never mind.
Two angles. So here's one angle. Here's the other
Okay.
angle.
Isn't an angle you can make any number of angle bends until you pick up the marker? Isn't that considered one angle?
I guess so. 2 angle, you can do as many angles as you want. That would make sense, right? Because
So
we're
you'd
talking
have-
about angles being any shape. So you
So
could say,
basically, you're gonna making 10 different angles, 2 per color, 5 total, 5 for 5 each. Yeah, see, I would consider that one angle.
yeah,
Is that
that's one angle. Okay, yeah,
Well-
that's right. Yeah, let's do that then. So you're at-
basically until the pen picks up, isn't that a continuous angle? That's
Yeah.
the way I understood. That's the way I would understand that instruction.
okay. I like that. Let's do that then.
Sorry to confuse the issue.
No, that's good. I just,
Yeah, I'm having troubles with my colors because I have so few. 1, 2, 3. And I've used this one for my green, which I really like.
I would be
Okay.
I would be in the same boat as Leslie. The only color markers I have are highlighters.
Well, I bought a big bag of Crayola markers for my grandkids, so,
yeah.
and so I have lots.
have lots.
That's one nice thing about having grandkids is I have all kinds of art supplies. And then they come here and they just want to like play games or
Of course. Okay, 1, 2,
Just
3.
give them the markers and tell them they can draw all on the walls all they want. They'd love that.
Oh, yeah. That's 4. Okay, I gotta do,
Man, we need hugs.
okay.
I need one more color. How can I be, because I only brought a few colors out, I guess, so. I like the sound of my marker.
Oh,
There.
okay. I'm looking at yours and I'm wondering if I missed some. So how many lines how many of those angular lines should I
So-
have?
We decided
Total?
each line, so this is one angle,
Yeah.
and here's the second angle of this color.
So we're doing 2 lines of each color.
2 angles for each color. 5
Okay.
colors.
Okay. I missed that. I don't
I
know.
think I got all my colors now.
My brain's getting too old.
Okay,
Can't figure
so
out all these
a lot fewer.
crazy directions.
I'm like 2 angles for each color. Here's one angle, and an angle and an angle, an angle and an angle, an angle and an angle. So that's it.
That's it.
I like my wide open spaces.
All right, well, you're gonna lose those.
I'm sure.
You can always
The one-
rebel against the teacher.
Be a nice little treat was I used this little mini marker. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, made by, who knows, ink? I don't know. And it turned out to be quite an olivey color, which is kind of nice
Nice.
in my field of all these freaking neon colors.
You have one
And
sort of
orange.
thing.
The orange is kind of pumpkiny, but really the other ones are gross.
Okay.
The pink is still hot pink though.
I think I'm there.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, the Chelsea brown. Might not work, but I'll look.
now,
Oh, yeah, I have a tell.
with a sort of a lighter marker, what I want you to do is I want you to make stripes in a bunch of the areas. I'm not going to tell you how many to do it in, but I'll show you what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to go. You can see I'm not being perfect with it, so.
I don't have lighter markers.
Well, you
I
have
thought
your
you had
highlighters.
highlighters.
Yeah, but they're like vibrant colors.
Okay, well, just find some areas to do some of these lines, and I'm changing the direction of my lines. We didn't do any curved lines. I think I forgot about the curved lines on this one.
How do we fix that?
Well, you don't have to have curved lines, I guess.
I'm wrecking it now. I like that better. How many of these do we have to do it in?
As many as you want, but do a bunch.
And it's just lines.
Yeah, I'm just doing sort of like a kind of a almost like a cross hatch, but not really. Okay. And then the last thing you're gonna, not the last thing. You're gonna take your fine tip marker and you're gonna run a line opposite in 3 of the spaces, run a line opposite what you've just done.
Does it have to be 90 degrees?
No.
Opposite?
No, it could be an angle. You could do like just a different angle. It just has to run a different direction than what you have there.
How many
3
lines?
spaces. You have to
run
do
the other way?
3 spaces that have the lines.
And you go all through it? Or
You go through it and just a different direction than what you're already doing,
okay.
than what you did.
Puke.
Now, if you want, because I did forget that curve, you could add 1 curved element into your piece. And I'm going to do that because I don't like what's going on with these spots. It looks like, you know, actually, depending on the color, it kind of looks like I have dog poop. Little dog poop because it looks kind of brown.
Yeah, but the one at the bottom looks like a little happy face with one eyebrow.
You know, as I was doing it, I was trying to make it not look like a face. Okay, and then you just render, you're going to render the whole thing. Oh, except you can leave a couple of empty spots and you have to color at least 3 of the striped areas.
So when you're using the curve, what is the direction on the curve again?
I just started at one of my drawing elements and took it off the page. So I started at this circle and I went all the way and then off the page.
And just off the page?
Yeah.
Okay. And just 1 curve?
Yeah. I just added it because I wanted to. So I'm kind of using colors that aren't so great either. I just put green and orange together, so. Sometimes you just gotta do something that's sort of against the grain, I guess.
Okay, and how many of these crosshatched ones do we have to fill in?
3.
3.
I'll tell you this, Leslie, Venetian red looks an awful lot like brown to me.
Well, that's what I think. What I was using mahogany red. I guess that would make it brown.
Why do they use the word red in the description if it's brown?
Just to confuse you.
Well, that's not fair.
No, it's not.
No whining.
Mm. Is there any red in Venetian red?
It should be kind of a red one. Again, there is red and brown anyway, so that's how you make brown. Just with red.
Oh, you didn't know that.
All right, so there's my finished composition. I left a couple of spots white. I don't know, it's just kind of a good little exercise, I think.
You
Sort of-
really took that coloring it in very literally.
I
I
did?
like doing willy-nilly weird coloring in.
Yeah, I think, well, just with the paints, you can go much faster, right? And you can just color. But yeah, I kind of went full on.
Well, these always start out really well. But my selection of color that I have to add is very poor. Brooke, what are you doing? Shenanigans over here.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Doo, doo.
I really wish I had just a better array. I should have used pencil crayons, right?
Yeah, but it would take you a lot longer, and you can try doing these with the pencil crayon and you know, rendering them that way. I did the first one I did. You can see, you'll see what I did. I did this first. This is the first one I did, and it took me a long time to color it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't like the way it looked on the paper. That's why I added the border, because I just felt the border made it look more like a composition. And then I used the paints.
I
The
should have
paper crayons.
used watercolor.
Yeah.
Because if I had used watercolor in some of these large sections, it might look like something. The green, I don't mind.
Yeah. Okay,
But
well, I'm
I-
going to switch the camera so we can see what you've done. Okay. And so let me just, let me put you in the spotlight. Oh, just a minute, I gotta switch. There you go. All right, let's see what you did. I can't hear you now.
Okay, so
Okay, there you
sorry, I have people talking to me in the background. So this is the most recent one. I didn't mind the structural stuff that was going on at all. And I quite like this olivey kind of green because it made my dots. But then my crosshatchy stuff is a hot pink. And then trying to figure out what to color in, I colored in the stripes. And then I was coloring in a random, I just didn't like what was happening.
It looks like a neighborhood zoning plan.
Yeah,
Well, you know, it's very reflective. Yours is very reflective of like a Kandinsky drawing or something like that, right? And that's sort of what he would do. He would play with shapes and stuff like that. Yeah, that looks really
and
nice.
that's I'm sort of somewhere between a Matisse and a Kandinsky with all of these.
Yeah, exactly,
So-
right?
There's the first one. And I quite like what was going on with that, except for the fact that certain things ran. We only did the one element with the fine pen, with the circle.
Mhm.
And then this pink got lost in here.
Yeah,
And then I was trying to use other colors in my little watercolor palette. And I got a light pink going on in there,
yeah,
but
it
a
looks
couple
nice.
of little white areas. It did okay. I had a little bit of running action, so I was kind of cautious around those.
Okay,
So if I had painted in some of this, it might have, or if I had just had a better selection of markers.
yeah. All right, well, you did really good. They look really neat. So, good job.
I really like the way this thing started. It
Yeah,
just-
I like your line with your circles. They're just great. Yeah, they turned out really nice. Okay, Elizabeth,
Thanks.
let's see what you've done. I'm gonna just switch you over here.
Okay. All right, so this is my first one.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
Eh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but it's
you
fun,
know,
right?
it's whatever.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it.
It's the directions.
Yeah.
And then here's my second one. I tried to get a little bit more, I kind of like it this way better.
Yeah.
To get a little bit more interesting with my dots,
Yeah.
you know,
Those are nice.
so I don't. And I kind of like the colors that I
Yeah.
used.
Yeah. That's nice.
colors in both of them.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then this is my third, which is kind of crazy. It's still kind of wet. So the color of the watercolor paint isn't really showing up yet because it makes the paper go like dark gray when it gets wet. So
Okay.
it
Oh,
kind
wow.
of, you know, looks sort of
Yeah.
blobby in places, but that should dry out
That looks really
a little
good.
bit better. So
That's cool.
That's so nice. Yeah. Like, I think these are really fun. Like, it's really cool
Yeah.
to see, like, just following the directions without seeing what you guys are doing. I mean, you guys can see what I'm doing, but it's really neat to see the difference in what you've done. That looks really good.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it. I
yeah,
like it.
this is probably my favorite of the three as well. And you know, I did put the curved element in there, and I'm not sure if I even love it. Like,
Yeah. You probably didn't need it. Your composition was really strong without it. Mine
yeah.
wasn't. So I like that. All right, Spencer,
Anyway,
now,
so
were
fun.
you drawing?
I was working on something, but it's not important.
Were you working on something that you want to show us?
It's not
Were
necessary.
you doing a goofy?
Spencer.
Look at your beard.
I was drawing Goofy number 16, yeah.
Goofy number 16.
I do, you got me started on using colored pencils to kind of doodle.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what I've been doing because I kind of enjoy it. And So this is more structured than most of them, but this is this is my goofy.
Oh,
Oh, you're so good.
I
Oh,
love it.
they're so fun.
They're just odd combinations of shapes and colors, and Leslie's
Well,
been encouraging me to put groups of colors together.
yeah,
Ah, yes.
That's very cool.
I kind of prefer colors that contrast,
yeah,
like, because I can see them better, but that's just
that's
me.
right. That's good. All right,
Yeah,
well, you'll
I
probably
just-
enjoy, one of our projects coming up is the optical art cube. But you
Oh,
could
okay.
do it with color instead of black and white. You could do it with color and it'd be really cool. So, but I'll have instructions on how to cut that out and get it all ready for you guys. So
Optical art.
optical art cube. Yeah, we did.
Cube.
I think we did some optical art drawings earlier
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah,
But I think we're going to put it into a cube form. So anyway, it's kind of a fun little project, but it's a long project. So we'll start it and then you guys have to finish it on your own. So because it's a long haul, but you can use your colors and it'll be good. So, all right. Well, we went over tonight, so I have to run because I got to go and get my daughter because she's finishing work right now. So anyway, so that's great. I will see you next week. Next week, we're going to do some blind contour, which is kind of fun. So I'll have that all together for you. So it's not very not a lot of supplies, maybe just a pencil and maybe some paints if you want to render it later. But we're going to be drawing probably our hands because that's my favorite thing to draw.
Oh, I've done that with Betty Edwards' class.
Well, there you go. I mean, you could get a mirror and do one of your face, but I have enough weird contours on my face. I don't need to add to it by doing it blonde. So anyway, all right. So I will see you guys next week. And yeah, if you see anything you want to try, let me know. And if there's any projects that we've done that you want to do again, you can also let me know that. And we'll see you next week. Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
You guys have a
Karen.
good night.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.